We're here. This is Market 10, and we've got a nice, beautiful plan here designed by Angela. Go through a couple items on her legend. And we also have with us today, we have Sylvia. And Sylvia, why don't you tell us just a little bit about yourself before we get started?
Okay. Well, my name is Sylvia Gurian. I am a contractor account manager for the Bay Area. And today I'm looking forward to understanding a little bit more about plants and how to, work through questions and possible issues.
I appreciate you coming on, and I'll give you a quick background on myself. I'm Mark Hall. I'm a senior area specification manager, or just call me an ASM. It works just fine. Cover Northern California. I'm a landscape architect, and I'm also a licensed landscape contract. That's my background. And anyway, we're just putting this on, and we are fortunate enough to get Angela to come on with us and go through one of her plans. Angela, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, I work for a firm in Roseville. We're called Firm and Leamy Land Group. I've been with them even before they were called Firm and Leamy Land Group. I've been with them for 15 years, and I'm a landscape designer for them. So we do everything on our landscape plans. We do softscape, hardscape, design development, construction documents, the whole shebang.
Excellent. Again, appreciate you being on here. And I think the project that we wanted to take a look at, I know that you've done a lot of the design on here, was your Central Park Phase 3 Roseville Park project. I was wondering if you could just give us just a little bit of background on the project and maybe a little bit about the irrigation.
Sure. Obviously, this is the third phase of this park, and it's a big portion of it. It's been in the works since 2014, so it's really exciting that's finally going into the ground. It consists of softball fields and tennis courts and parking lots and basketball courts and play area. So there's a lot of equipment and amenity packed into this park parcel. The irrigation has evolved right along with it since 2014. Obviously, a lot of things have changed in the industry over that period of time, and in this just before we were approved, we just had to go ahead and update our plans to the current Roseville standards, and so that's where we're at. And it's primarily Rainbird equipment.
Well, we always like to hear that, of course, and we appreciate it. And you just received the final approval?
Yeah, it was ongoing through the design development part, and then it paused, and then it picked up again, and it paused, and a lot of it had to do with funding. And now we're finally going into the ground. So, it feels like this is definitely a park that's taken a while to get there.
True, and you shared your plans. We appreciate that. And I think this was one of your last set of revisions. And tell me just a little bit about how those got on there. I think before you guys had the city request MP rotator. But why the change?
I think when it came down to it, they were looking for a higher GPM, still within the low flow nozzle. And I think they have just liked that output a little bit more.
Okay. No, that makes sense. So a little bit, and you and I think had talked before, and I know I came into your office, we did a live demo display in there, and we were talking about how I think you like the larger droplet size versus the other competition on that one. All right, now let's take a look. Go to the next one. also looking through there, and we talked about sometimes it's good to talk about the differences between some of the different products, not necessarily to make any changes, especially on a approved project. Would you think you guys would specify a check valve product versus a non-check?
In this case, it simply was by request of the city. We're just following their standards.
No, that's good to know. And I always wonder how this works. I mean, I've been working with manufacturers for quite some time, so I'm not always working directly with the city. We do have people that work directly, our public account managers. They work directly with cities as far as preferences and doing demonstrations, that type of thing.
If there is something new on the market, oftentimes we can have that conversation with their departments to see if that's going to be acceptable or not,
Value engineering sometimes, or I think you and I had spoken before about, they're maybe not big fans of drip irrigation or drip line, and they want to go more with bubblers, RVANs, other options as far as their product choices. But when they do use some type of dripper line, the check valve would definitely save them some money and definitely save them water. So that may be somewhere, not just with this city, but with other cities that we can focus on that education. There are cases that she'll come in there and she'll have, let's say, maybe 3 different contractors bid on one project, but they may have something in particular, like our QF header, or they may have a different, product of choice, and that's got to be submitted. Do you see that happen very often with your contractor, Sylvia, where they want to submit an or equal?
Sometimes they'll ask me what do I think, or what's going on in the industry in general. So just so that they making sure that they are in tune with what is preferred, or if there's a better option that they may not know about. I mean, technology moves quickly. Rainbird is no different in moving their products into the future. So that happens. I wouldn't say regularly, but often enough.
Okay. Yeah, because I know that you and I have talked before, and it comes up once in a while, and I mentioned that to Angela, because when we have that come up and somebody wants to make a change, of course, the first thing we talk to the contractor about, or Sylvia will, that they need to make a submittal or equal. Angela, you got to go through some of those sometimes.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Here's another, this is a good detail showing the XFS, and you can see up here where we've got the air relief valve. And we talked about the air relief valve. Is that something that we can, or that you don't need if we have a check valve, because the check valve holds all the water in the tubing and doesn't allow any drainage, so you don't have any air to expel. So if there's no air to expel, you don't need air relief valve at all. I think to indicate that there'd be a PVC, is that correct, Angela, PVC header?
Yes, it would be.
Yeah. So we do have, and this does get submitted quite often, we have something called, are you familiar with our QF header?
I personally am not, no.
Header. Instead of doing PVC pipe and having to glue and cut and do all those other things, we can actually, and we can go to products. And if you look at drip irrigation, we can go to there. And I'm just showing you, this is typically how I'll navigate, this shows the point source at the top. And then you've got drip tubing and stakes, and so we can click on this. And, there's things where we can show all these different products, but this is the one I wanted to have you take a look at. You've probably seen it somewhere before, but
Yeah, this is familiar now.
yeah, so this is a 100-foot coil, and then the spacing of the actual fittings are 12 or 18 inches on center. And then if you get a close-up look, it looks like this. Nice thing is you can turn it any direction that you want, but the other great thing is it controls that spacing for your contractor. And that way they don't have to put any fittings in at all. And we have a special tool that will even help you put this together quickly. And it works with curves, unless your office only designs with rectangles.
Yes, of course. The landscape is always that way, right?
Yeah, exactly. Now, there might be one office out of 50.
Yeah, well, you never know.
It'd be like, think about it, Frank Lloyd Wright, all his are angular.
Yeah, that's true. It's more modern that way.
Yes, exactly. So this is really it's a great option. Some use it under turf and all kinds of things like that. But or you can go down here. I think this one is a nice example. These are a lot of our little PDF documents. When it pops up. On here, I've done these before. We haven't done this yet in your office, Angela, because it's actually quite a bit of fun. Where you build these on the table, and then you build this on the table, except I don't use glue. And you have to cut the PVC, put this together, the extra fittings and everything, and then you have to put this together. And it's about a third less time, and it's less expensive materials. So the cities, they really appreciate this.
That sounds like a big savings on labor, obvious, for that.
Yes.
For the QF.
So that just shows you a couple things. The air relief, we already talked about that. I'll just show you a couple different options. I think this is a really cool detail. I think you said that you guys have drawn this for the city.
Correct. It tells the story. You have a better understanding when you go through it of how things work and get built and everything. So it's important. Absolutely. Yep.
So let me switch over to, let's see if I take a look at, I was looking at your detail with the operation indicator, and this is like a regular 1800 12-inch pop-up. There are some differences between that and just say the actual indicator. Let me flip over to here.
Find it in my trusty catalog here myself.
It is in your trusty catalog.
I know it's in here somewhere.
Now you just have to hold it right up to the, you made a good point.
To the window, I know. Oh, I can't even find it.
No, you're right. It is in the, since you said that, that was a very good idea that we'll just go to the trusty catalog.
Hey, I want to looking at it here. Operation indicator. Page 40 or page 142.
No. That's what keeps me young, is doing it the young school way. You know what? Look at down here. Can you
I see it moving. Wow.
I should have done it. See, look at it. I learned something new from you again. There we go. Aha, that looks drippy.
There it is.
There we go.
Oh, one more. There we go.
Well, here's what it says. When stem is extended, drip system is charged to a minimum of 15 PSI. So there's a flow by. You don't always see that spec in the actual catalog or online, but this particular one, see, this has a 1/4 inch. All right, well, I think we did more than enough. We did at least 30 minutes worth. I'll stop it there. Hey, make sure the people are still on. I'll send you a now I send you a mug.
It's handy.
Well, I couldn't even get, I thought it'd be bad to have like a picture, like your picture on here.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah,
thought I was gonna get one, like I was gonna have Sylvia's picture on my cup, my picture on
Mhm.
your cup. See if anyone notices.
That's funny.
Thanks. I appreciate your time. I will see what I can do with it. See if I can edit myself out enough. And then once I do that. And
No,
Sylvia,
it's my pleasure.
I really appreciate it. You can do that if you want. So I'm sure
Q&A.
your work, have you guys been just as busy? On a side note, I'll stop recording, but.